Welcome to another edition of This Week in South Baltimore, brought to you by SouthBmore.com. So about 2 weeks ago, we launched our first episode. A lot of people were listening, and we really appreciate that. We are now available on iTunes, Spotify, and Google, so please go subscribe to This Week in South Baltimore on those channels, and that way everybody can listen wherever you are, no matter when, no matter where. We're here for you. So let's get started with This Week in South Baltimore. He gets the scoop so you can sit on your stoop. Founder of SouthBmore.com, Kevin Lynch.
Hey Nate, what's going on?
Not much, Kev. Just looking forward to another episode of This Week in South Baltimore.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited to have this new podcast, and Nate came to me and wanted to team up on this, so I'm very excited about that. So Nate, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Kev. I appreciate that. So some folks around the neighborhood might know me from my band, Roses and Rust. I'm the bass player in that band, so we play a lot of gigs around here. Maybe you've seen me there. I've DJ'd quite a few events for Halloween Bash and, some of the other events that have taken place at the Gazebo over the years. And other than that, love living in South Baltimore. Been here 10 years now. My wife and I moved up here from Atlanta in September of 2010, so almost exactly 10 years. And we've got two awesome kids in the South Baltimore school system. When I'm not doing my real job, I'm probably podcasting or DJing or playing music, and really appreciate you letting me be a part of this and, help get the word out even more about the awesome things you're doing at SouthBmore.com and just helping to, keep our community engaged however they want to listen or read.
Awesome, Nate. Well, I'm really happy to have you. Nate's going to be my co-host. He's our producer and all things audio guy. So we're excited to have Nate on our team, and we're excited to talk about South Baltimore together.
So let's get started on This Week in South Baltimore. Kevin, what you got for us when it comes to construction and other development going on?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, certainly the construction has continued to go strong this year, and with everything going on with the pandemic, and we're see a lot of construction sites around South Baltimore, and a lot of new ones are starting up. So one project that kind of tails into what we were talking about a couple weeks ago is 1300 Warner Street, which is at the corner of Warner and Austin Street, across the street from M&T Bank Stadium. Demolition has become there to take down an existing building. It's part brick building, part warehouse. That'll be the future home of the Paramount Baltimore. That's going to be a 4,000 person, $50 million music venue. So the team there, which is CBAC, that's the owners of Horseshoe Casino Baltimore, they've gotten started there with demolition of this building. That's a building that's been vacant for all 22 years that M&T Bank Stadium has been there, right across the street. So it's exciting to see that building come down, and that'll be a very vibrant use for that lot once the Paramount Baltimore does start construction. They don't have an exact timeline for when the building will start construction, but they're clearly wasting no time getting that site cleared and ready to go. So that'll be part of that Warner Street district, which will have all kinds of entertainment uses there, which will include Top Golf, a hotel, additional retail, Horseshoe Casino Baltimore, which is already there, M&T Bank Stadium, home of the Ravens, and some other events. So certainly, as far as getting that entertainment district started there in South Baltimore, it's certainly getting going. And then another project that got started in recent weeks is one that's kind of in Ridgely's Delight, but also downtown at 725 West Pratt Street. There's an apartment project by Zalco. This is going to be 54 apartments, 5,000 square feet of retail, which is going to be divided up in 3 retail suites and 20 parking spaces. This is a $12 million project. It's a historic project. It'll use 3 historic buildings as well as a couple lots, and creating a new apartment building there. So that's another apartment project, which is an apartment project that's in Ridgely's Delight, but right across the street from University of Maryland, Baltimore, close to the Inner Harbor, close to the stadiums, close to downtown. So a lot of different types of residents could find appeal in a project like that. And another project in Locust Point, there's the PQ Corporation headquarters, which closed in January, and that's getting demolished currently. That'll become a 112 townhome project by Mark Saperstein's 28 Walker. So right now they're clearing the site. They hope to begin site work as far as creating the pad sites for the townhomes end of this year, early next year. And then at 112 townhomes, that'll be the biggest townhome project the South Baltimore Peninsula has seen in about 10, 15 years. So certainly a really big project that's going to bring a lot of new townhomes. This site is immediately adjacent to Francis Scott Key Elementary Middle School, so it could be an appealing location for families. As part of this project, they plan on doing some renovations to the park/schoolyard that's located right there. So more townhomes coming to Locust Point, potentially an opportunity there to bring in more families to an area that's already very strong as far as its network of families. So we'll keep an eye on that. Probably maybe mid next year, you'll start to see some townhomes and some models go up there. But certainly the construction continues hot and heavy in South Baltimore. To get a rundown of all the construction we have in South Baltimore, we have our South Baltimore Development Rundown, which is always live on southbeamer.com. You can simply go to our real estate tab up top, go to the drop-down menu, and you can see our South Baltimore Development Rundown. You can keep track on every single project that's under construction, that's proposed and recently completed, and it keeps us busy.
No shortage of development for sure. What about parks? What are we hearing about parks and recreation areas opening up right now?
Yeah, for sure. So Baltimore Recreation and Parks announced a reopening plan for a lot of their assets within the parks. Obviously you've still been able to take a stroll around Federal Hill Park or Riverside Park, but now some of the amenities within those parks are reopening. What's already open is tennis courts and skate parks. Those opened last week. And then starting next Monday the 13th, pools will reopen, playgrounds will reopen, exercise equipment will reopen, and basketball courts will reopen. So pretty exciting. Obviously, pools are a big part of the summer. The pool will certainly open with some different restrictions in place. It won't be the same as before. You're going to have to make a reservation to go swimming, which caps you at 90 minutes in the pool. But, if you went last year, there was times where there was a line to get in, or sometimes you couldn't even get into the pool. So at least you can know ahead of time when you're going to go swimming. Pool attendance will be free this year, so that's a benefit. It'll be a short swimming season, but you'll certainly be able to get it in. And certainly me and you both have kids, so it'll be exciting to get the playgrounds back. I know it's been tough for kids everywhere to kind of adjust what they do for fun. So playgrounds are obviously a big amenity for kids, and especially when you got some kids like mine that don't exactly love boundaries. The playground, Riverside Park and Federal Hill Park, are fenced in, so your kids can only go so far. So very exciting there. And obviously the exercise equipment pods they have, those have gotten really popular. So some of those amenities to city living are coming back. So that's a good thing.
Oh, it's an absolutely great thing. I mean, especially with small kids, anything we can do this summer to keep them occupied, I'm all for, and get them out of the house, So what about some businesses that are opening and closing?
Yeah, for sure. So the Sweet Shop, which has been at Cross Street Market for several decades, they announced they would be closing. The owner, Pete Pillis, has decided to retire. He's been doing it a long time, and luckily they found a replacement with Taharka Brothers Ice Cream. Taharka Brothers was already sold in the Sweet Shop, so the Taharka Brothers business, which has two other brick and mortars in our house and Broadway Market in Fells Point, so they're gonna make it number 3 at Cross Street Market, selling their flavors of ice cream, which are produced right in Baltimore. So you're probably already familiar with their brand, if not from one of their brick and mortars, but through maybe seeing them at their food truck or in grocery stores or at the Sweet Shop. So they're going to come in, and Federal Hill, people were asking for more ice cream in Federal Hill, and now we have two of the biggest names in ice cream kind of right next to each other with the Charmery and Taharka Brothers. So certainly those with a hankering for ice cream will have another good option. It's probably looking like Taharka Brothers might get open in there around August. So still got a little bit of time. You can go ahead and enjoy some other ice cream options before then. But, the Sweet Shop was the second restaurant we've heard about closing during this COVID-19 pandemic. The other one being Riley's, and both immediately having a replacement. So really, Riley's has a liquor license transfer posted on the front of the business. So I don't have a lot of additional information I can share about that yet. But what we do know is South Baltimore has lost 2 restaurants during the pandemic, and both are being immediately replaced. So kind of a succession plan was in place. So good to see as far as the health of our restaurant community, at least concerning staying in business, where at this point, South Baltimore net hasn't lost any restaurants. Another business that's we announced is opening is a bartending academy called Gorgy Tenders. They're going to a space on Charles Street, and that's going to be a place where you can get your a certificate for safe bartending. And it'll also be a place where you can learn to have flair, like Tom Cruise in the movie Cocktail, which might be an asset that could grow in Baltimore as far as some bartenders doing some tricks behind the bar. So obviously, Federal Hill in South Baltimore has a lot of bars. So here's a place where you can hone your skills before you get a job. And one business that announced its closing is Yoga Works, which is a yoga studio on a second floor space on Light Street. So they are closing. Federal Hill still has a couple other, or Federal Hill / South Baltimore still has a couple other yoga studios. So a shame to lose Yoga Works. That's a space that's been a fitness studio for many years. So we'll see what replaces that. Obviously, it's been a tough time for the fitness and gym community, as they've been restricted as much as almost any business out there. We've seen a lot of places like Reflex Fitness and Knockout Fitness offering outdoor classes, and now they are able to have classes inside. So, as we've complimented our retail and our restaurant owners with the hard work they've done during this pandemic, certainly we've seen gyms which have done a lot to engage with their communities as far as classes on classes on Zoom, classes on Instagram, getting out to parks and hosting classes. So certainly so many in our fitness community have done a good job holding on, and hopefully as things get back to normal, so are the reality. And then the Orioles, they're going to have a 60-game season this year, much shorter than your typical 162-game season. They're going to crank out 60 games in a very short time span, and initially, at least, you will not be able to watch these games in person. You'll certainly be able to watch them on MASN, but we will see if that changes as the season goes on. But if you're looking for something different, something new, everyone's craving American sports. I know some people have been watching Korean baseball just to get the fills. So the Orioles will be starting up in a couple weeks. So that's very exciting.
Hey, we got to do what we got to do to get our sports fix on. So if that's watching Premier League or...
obviously, you have some skills as an audio engineer. I've been pretty impressed watching those English Premier League games. They clearly have somebody very talented on the audio button, putting in cheers, putting in the groans, putting in kind of the boos a little bit. So clearly they have very talented audio engineers in there, making it seem like there's crowd noise going on. So I don't know if you got to see that, if that's kind of an opportunity that maybe could have resulted in a goal, did not. And the audio guy immediately had I thought that was impressive. It's more than just some track they kind of...
Yeah, those guys are good. They're really good. Those folks are really good at what they do, and acting as if they are the crowd with each button push.
Pretty cool from a production standpoint to see the talent of those guys and gals.
Kevin, I understand you have some updates for us regarding the city council and a recent development with the mounted police.
Sure. One other story we're tracking is the Baltimore City Council was making some cuts in the funding to the Baltimore Police Department. And one of those cuts was to take away the funding for the department's mounted unit, which is their unit of police officers on horses. And why this is interesting to Southwest Baltimore is on the B&O Railroad property. They built a new $3.5 million facility called First Mile Stable, which was designed to be not only the home of the BPD mounted unit, but also a community center where they would bring in kids from neighboring Mount Clair and Carrollton Ridge and Pigtown and Hollins Market and Union Square and teach them about horses. There's kind of community space in there. So it's really going to double as a community center and a home for the mounted unit. So the city council which was backed by Council President Scott and Mayor Young, voted to take away the funding for this unit. But there's a lot of opposition in the community. B&O Railroad is against this. The leader of the Mount Clair neighborhood has come out strongly against this. Councilman Bullock, who represents that area, is against this move. And then a big letter against this move came from the University of Maryland, Baltimore, obviously a huge anchor institution of South Baltimore and West Baltimore. And they're a big part of the Southwest Partnership, which kind of keeps a lot of those neighborhoods kind of aligned. So they worded a strongly written letter kind of against this decision. So we'll continue to track that. There's now a brand new $3.5 million facility for equestrian and the mounted unit in Southwest Baltimore. And as of right now, we don't know what the future of that building is going to be. So we'll continue tracking that story to see where that goes. But certainly there's a lot in the community that hopes this decision is reversed, and we'll see where that goes.
Well, we certainly appreciate you keeping your eyes and ears out for any developments in regards to that story. But anything from social media channels?
We do, yes. We appreciate the engagement on social media. So thank you, Steph Logren, for giving us a question. Her question was about Ronnie's, which was a carry-out restaurant for many years at the corner of West Barney Street and Charles Street. That space also has a beer wine license. So her question was, do I have an update on that? And so I do not have an update on that at this time, but Iconic Builders is going to be the construction company and owner of that property. What we do know is it's going to stay in the same form, where it will be some kind of restaurant in that space. Not a huge building. So when I have more of an update, I will let people know, but they're going to renovate that building. They're going to keep it as a hospitality use. And when we know more, we'll let you know. Ronnie's was a very popular carryout space in the neighborhood for many years. I lived very close to there and went to Ronnie's many times. So excited to see where it goes next. We'll keep you posted.
Kevin, there's so much positivity going around the neighborhood. I mean, people should be very encouraged by what they're, seeing and the steps that the business owners are taking to keep things going. And I just feel so hopeful that, we are headed in the right direction, and we're going to overcome all of this with COVID-19, of course. And, our business owners are going to just rebound even better. As
COVID-19 has been going on, we've heard a lot of people predicting there'd be huge attrition as far as restaurants and small businesses, and the outlook could be pretty bleak, all said and done. And certainly the pandemic is not over and things are not completely back to normal, but been so incredibly impressed by our small business community to pivot and fight hard and hold on and keep their businesses going. And it's actually been quite the story in South Baltimore, as we have seen 26 new businesses in the works for the South Baltimore Peninsula. There's only been 6 businesses that have closed. So right now we're looking at a plus 20 as far as when the pandemic began and where we are now. South Baltimore is on pace to have 20 additional kind of retail and restaurant businesses. Now, 5 of these businesses are replacing businesses that immediately closed, but 21 of those new businesses are taking over a space that has been vacant for a significant amount of time, or this is a new retail space that has never been used before. So really, we're getting 26 new businesses. 21 of those are taking over spaces that needed somebody to take over that space for some time. And 15 of these new businesses were actually announced during this pandemic. So at a time when we were supposed to see a lot of attrition for retail businesses, we've seen quite the opposite. So that is incredible. So much hard work going on in the small business community. So amazingly, how South Baltimore done as far as small businesses during this, done really well. That's surprising, but not surprising when you know kind of the work ethic of so many business owners.
Kevin, thank you once again for the weekly roundup of This Week in South Baltimore. Thank you, folks, for taking a listen today, and we appreciate all your support at southbmore.com. And make sure you subscribe to southbmore.com if you haven't already. Make sure you also subscribe to our podcast here. You can find us anywhere podcasts are available, iTunes, Spotify, or Google. We'll put all those links into the southbmore.com website as well. So thank you all for tuning in, and stay tuned to next week. Thank you for listening to This Week in South Baltimore by southbmore.com.